Lord, now I don't have to be fixing that temptation yet. And now it's just
How you doing?
I see you so much now.
Hi there. This is Rihanna Wright.
How's the path out down here? What do you need?
A tea bag right there. First one.
Hold on. This one?
Yeah, one of those bags. Well over 10 years now. I don't know exactly how long, but it's well over 10 years. Okay, Dave Perkins, been doing 10 plus years. I was talking with Phil earlier, and during that conversation, it just, I kind of wanted Phil to say the things that he wants to say.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Yeah, sounds good. Not as experienced as him, but been with the financial industry for over 10 years, right? So the major thing is just looking at financial wellness. What's financial wellness, right? That's, feeling good about your money and then making sure that you are making informed decisions, right? That's what we want to do. Now, within the Black community or within our community, this is one of the downfalls, right? Finance. Nobody knows finance, or you don't even understand it. So you get screwed over by a credit card, some debt, some payment, right? So this is where we want to make sure that your physical and emotional well-being is okay with finance, right? So therefore you can feel emotionally well by just, spending, or knowing how to spend, or knowing what to spend on, knowing how to budget, right? These are the things that we need to have done so that we can make informed decisions going forward, right? So Dave had a few topics that he will cover. So now we can go ahead and cover these topics, but get that emotional feeling into understanding finance.
Awesome, thank you, Phil. So one of the things that we were going to talk about, so as I said, as a broker, I cover everything from insurance to investments, the entire financial spectrum. And Phil and I were talking earlier about insurance and perhaps a reluctance with insurance products specific to our community. I was hoping we would touch on that. I was trying to the part that I was so good at explaining to you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, insurance is a part of it that most of us think it's a scam, right? Because you don't understand who it is. But if you look at the spectrum, the wealthy of the wealthy, right? Insurance is what they use to have generational wealth, right? Set things up for everybody else coming along. Now, understanding the insurance and how to purchase insurance, that's exactly what we need to understand, right? Because insurance can do a whole lot, all right? So understanding insurance, if you have a home, right? You have kids, you have a family, looking at insurance on your mortgage. Because at the end of the day, if you were supposed to pass on, your wife is left with it, you know, the big mortgage, plus, you know, kids to take care of. It to be a vehicle to make sure that when you leave, or if you leave, you know, you have money set up for the people behind, right? So they will give you some more insight into it.
So when I put together a financial plan, I always start with insurance. And like Phil said, so in my 10 plus years in this business, is my voice loud enough? In my 10 plus years in this business, I've attended a lot of seminars teaching advisors how to perform in this business. And so I've lately, well not lately, over the past probably 5 to 6 years, I focused my attention only on attending seminars that are geared towards generating generating high net worth. All I've been focused on is what are those strategies that high net worth people use to generate, create, and pass on huge sums of money. And it always starts with insurance. Every one of these seminars starts with insurance. And the insurance industry has evolved tremendously. Whenever I talk to somebody about insurance, I usually start by saying, do you want the old kind of insurance or the new kind of insurance? Why use financial planning? What does it mean for you? So a financial planner, or advisor, whatever you want to call me, is someone who not only manages your investments, they're your partner in building a plan to help you achieve your financial goals using all the appropriate tools to fit your unique situation. What I mean by that is it's not just about investments, it's also insurance, it's making sure that you have a holistic plan in place. So financial strategies, using tax-efficient investment solutions, advanced tax planning strategies, cost-effective investment approaches, strategic asset allocation, tailored retirement planning, comprehensive estate planning, and succession planning guidance. So it's also about making sure that your heirs are taken care of. So having a proper estate plan in place, not just a will, because will can be something, you can attest a will. Having certain, whatever you can put in place in your estate that bypasses probate is better. So some financial planning check-in, behavior, investment behavior. When I talk about investment behavior here, what I mean by that is when the markets dip, people want to sell. It's natural inclination. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm losing money. I got to get out of this. That's everyone's, well, not everyone, but that's a lot of people's natural inclination. Part of my job is to talk you out of that. Talk you off the ledge and say, no, this is not the time to sell. I'll get to you in just 1 second. This is not the time to sell. What you want to do is put more money into the market. We've all heard the slogan, buy low, sell high. It's cliche for a reason. It's true. So when the market dips, don't sell, buy more. And I'm going to get into a little bit more of that in a second.
Just really quickly, probate, what is that?
Oh, sorry. So probate is when you die, your estate goes through it's a legal process in order to pass your assets on to your heirs. And there's a probate court, which will determine how those assets are distributed. So I get approached a lot. People love to buy stocks and bonds and whatnot. I get approached a lot. They give me some advice on this. I want to buy this. I want to buy that. And I'm going to be very honest with you. When I got licensed in the securities industry for not a long time, for probably about 2 years, I only called myself a stockbroker because it was sexy. People want to talk about it. Everybody want to talk about stocks and bonds and going online, using these free tools and doing everything. And then it all changed when I started attending those high net worth meetings, because that's not what they do. They don't buy stocks and bonds, anything what they do. Insurance products, mutual funds, ETFs, property diversification, tax strategies, that's what they employ. It changed my whole approach to this. So key questions to ask yourself. This is kind of how I open a lot of these sessions. So what's more, I want to make this interactive, so please feel free to answer, speak up. What is more important to you? The asset class you're invested in or the money you make? The asset class? No, let me explain, because I'm looking for a different answer. When I say asset class, what I mean by that is it more important to you to be invested in stocks and bonds, or is it more important to you to make more money? The reason that I ask that is because if your investment strategy is all about investing in those things, and yeah, equilibrium, of course, having a balance. I'm not saying stocks and bonds are bad, and I'll certainly do that for you. I'm not saying it's bad, but if that's your only investment asset class, it might not be the way to go. So the whole point to building your portfolio and building your financial plan is at some point you're going to draw on that money in your retirement. Yeah, so what's more important to you? How much money you make or how much you keep? Thank you, how much you keep. So keep bearing that in mind when I'm designing your investment, when I'm designing your portfolios and your financial plan, I'm thinking about how much you're going to keep. There's 4 ways that investment income is taxed. So you got your capital gains. Interest is another way that your investment income will be taxed. Dividends, and then return of principal. As you're getting older, and sometimes it's called age investing, as you're getting older, I want to start to tailor and set up your portfolio in a way that when you're drawing that income from your portfolio, you're getting return of capital first. Because you're not going to be taxed on that, because you've invested with after-tax dollars, so you're not going to be taxed on return of principal. Makes it most tax efficient. You cannot do that with a stock portfolio. When you place your order on those free tools, they can specifically place the order on the stock market. They sell it to a clearinghouse who then gives a kickback to them. I've been on those free tools, and there's a lot of buy and sell strategies. I don't see a lot of buy and hold strategies on there. Buy and hold is the best way to create money. All this frequent trading is not a generational wealth creation strategy. Insurance. This is always the foundation of anyone's financial plan. So when I talk about insurance, I talk about new versus old kind of insurance. You know, there's renting your insurance and there's owning your insurance. Those are just terms that I use to describe the differences between term insurance and permanent insurance. So term insurance is a great solution for a temporary coverage requirement. But where it gets real exciting is with the permanent insurance. Now this is the par, there's 3 different kinds. There's par, there's universal, and there's whole life. Par is my favorite, and it's the only one I'm going to talk about today, and it's only because universal and whole life are great products. They're all great products, but I've only got an hour. So I was like, pick one, and this is the one I chose. So this is the one. But I talked about new insurance and old insurance. This is where the new insurance comes in. So par products are what a lot of high net worth people invest their money in. Imagine a bank account that takes care of all phases of your life. So here's James. He's 2 years old, living in Nova Scotia. So his parents or his grandparents decide to purchase a par policy, a whole life par policy. So somebody, parents, grandparents, is paying $150 a month into this policy for James for 20 years. It's a whole life paid up additions. What paid up additions means, so the reason that people are investing in insurance products is because insurance companies pay dividends that are guaranteed. That's why high net worth people invest in these. And because they're insurance products, they're guaranteed, they are in the contract, they are not subject to market conditions, which your stocks and bonds and other investment vehicles would be. It's guaranteed. And it buys a $148,000 death benefit. Now I want you to watch the power of this policy. So you'll see here that the parents or grandparents are paying their premium for 20 years, and after 20 years, they are no longer paying that premium. This child, he was 2 when we started this, now he's 19. So at the age of 19, we're going to give this child $3,000 a year for 4 years. When this child turns 32, we'll give him $35,000. Then, as he gets a little older and moves into retirement, we're going to give him $30,000 every 5 years. From 60, 65, 70, 75, we're doing $30,000 a year. Then when he turns 77, 77. We're gonna give them $15,000 a year. So with all those payouts, the parents or grandparents invested $36,000 into this policy over the course of 20 years. The child took out $257,000 over their lifetime. That death benefit, that was $148,000 when the policy started, has now become $300,000. So that's a total of $557,000 off a $3,600,000 investment. That's the power of a par policy. Hedge funds, you've all heard of hedge funds. Hedge funds are for the rich, the wealthy, what they call sophisticated investors. And that's an industry term, that's what they call them, sophisticated investors. That's your insurance companies, your banks, your whatever, pension plans. That's what unions, that's what they invest in. In order to be, as an individual, to be a sophisticated investor, you have to have $1 million of investable assets, you have to be making a certain amount of income, and over the course of 10 years in order to get access to those types of investments. The reason that insurance companies and other people that have those available to them, why they make more money than they're willing to give you the 10% dividend, is because a hedge fund can make money in the market regardless of how the market moves. The market goes up, that's what a hedge fund does, they bet against the market. So if the market goes up, they make money. If the market goes down, they still make money. Okay, so two other types of insurance that a person should have. Individual or business owner. Critical illness and disability. These are what they call living benefits. Critical illness, if you get sick, you should have something that pays you while you're sick. Disability, if you get disabled and you can't go to work, you need to have something in place to supplement your income while you're disabled. First story. This is
3 minutes and then you go down to
3 minutes.
Yeah, because we're business topic.
We're gonna tell these stories real quick. I got 3 minutes left. Business owner questions. So if you're a business owner, these are the types of things you need to start asking yourself. Have you protected your business against 3 main risks? 1, if you get sick. 2, your life. Succession planning and having a buy-sell agreement. The third one is the CRA, taxes. Are you taking advantage of your company's capital dividend account? If you have surplus cash in your corporation, would you like to make the tax deferral permanent? What's important to you about the wealth you've created in your business, enjoying it now, preserving it later, or avoiding taxes? Are you concerned about the extra tax you might pay annually if your corporation earns passive income? What happens to your business if you're no longer there? Does your will planning include the opportunity to avoid probate fees? And if you were unable to show up at your corporation for 3 months, what would happen? And lastly, do you have a shareholder agreement? If so, is it funded? Those are the kinds of things that as a business owner you need to start asking yourself. I thought we had way more time than this. Either we started late or something. But I think we're out of time. Thank you so much for coming. I do.